Hey guys, how's it going? Toofty here, and today we have the second map of Goldrush. We're looking at sentry spots. They're going to be awesome, they're going to be juicy. I hope you enjoy. Let's jump straight in to the map. So this is the path of the cart. You've got the first area on the left. You go through the deathly choke point of doom in the middle, which has a nice kind of second floor route to it, which I always use. Then we've got this second area here where you can do a really nice hold, and then you've got this last area after the buildings where there are also some nice sentry spots to try out. So these are the three areas I'm going to break it down into. So let's jump in and take a look at the first area. Blues will be coming in from these directions here. The most common spot I see is probably in this corner here. I really don't like this. It's so easy to spam into this corner, especially as a demo man. As you know, I'm always thinking from a demo man's perspective because I play demo. But yeah, for me it feels really vulnerable in this corner, so I'm not going to talk about this one today. Another really popular spot is in this corner here, which I quite like actually, and I used to use quite a lot. But today I want to talk about one which I think is better than this. So yeah, I've been trying out this spot here and it's been working really well for me. It gives you that little bit more cover and it's a little bit less expected as well. Obviously, as soon as the demo man kind of knows exactly where it is, and if he's smart enough, he should be able to take it out fairly easily. But I definitely thought this was an interesting one to talk about, so we'll get to this in just a second. Finally, another really popular spot is within or outside this building here. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I used to build here all the time, but while I was making this video, I was having a really bad time with it, and I think maybe it's just because it's so popular. Everyone knows where it is. But at the same time, I have seen people hold here for a long time. So yeah, this is another one we're going to talk about today. So let's jump in and take a look at these spots. So this first one is pretty much anywhere on that ledge there. You've got a huge metal pack there to help you out. The health pack actually comes in really handy as well when you're getting a lot of damage coming into you. I also like putting the telly within that compartment too, but you can also put it maybe to that room to your right to make it a little bit more hidden. But yeah, as you can see here, the sentry gun is actually locking on and shooting enemies right across the map over that little barrier thing in front of it. It's kind of unexpected. You can hardly see it if you're coming in from that side as a blue team, but yeah, it's still shooting you. So that makes it really powerful for those guys. And anyone pushing, you know, obviously down the center of the map, again, it shouldn't have too much of a problem taking care of them. So my matey on the left here is taken out now, so that side's not really covered anymore, and that's going to be where the real vulnerability is for this spot, because I know when I'm attacking there's often a base somewhere up here, and I often do a little jump up to this ledge. From there you're often able to take it out, so you've really got to keep an eye out for that direction. Getting a lot of spy action here. It is very difficult for spies to come up these stairs actually, so that's actually another positive about this spot, is that spies have to come right past you and your sentry gun. As always with these first points though, you're bound to go down in the end, and in this case you can see here the stickies are flying over the edge here. The demo man doesn't even have to see where I am exactly. He knows he's getting damaged and it's a pretty easy job for him. I should have run a little bit sooner here, but unfortunately I'm taken down. So this second one, just outside of this building here, is, like I said, very common. But I've been in games where it has held for the entirety of the round, so I know it has some potential. Worth noting that you can do a little jump across that little gap there, very useful to grab that metal, because there's only 100 in here, and that's one of the trickiest things about this, is getting set up in time. I like to have the sentry gun placed in a position so that it can shoot down to the right and down to the left. I find that threats coming from the left are less of a problem usually, although that's probably where I would attack from personally as a demo man. My main worry is when the cart becomes kind of level with your gun, you've got several players on it, getting healed by the cart, that's when you're bound to be taken out. Here I'm trying to, desperately cling on for dear life, keep my teleporter up, but it's all unfortunately in vain. So let's move on and take a look at the second area of the map where there's a much better chance of holding and some really strong positions you can try out. Okay, so this is a really interesting area. You've got kind of these three routes in for the blue team. One of the most popular spots I see here is just in this corner here. But yeah, the reason I don't particularly like it is because this area on the other side of the map is an area where it's completely vulnerable from. As a soldier or demo, you can quite happily chill out in this area here and shoot across the map, and you and your sentry gun can do nothing really about it, except perhaps maybe try and use your wrangler. So a couple of other spots I've tested out are kind of here and here. Both of these have problems. The one underneath the window doesn't quite reach the far left of the map. The one in the middle, it reaches everything, but you can easily take it out from that window. So these feel a bit too vulnerable for me, and again, I'm not going to talk about these today. The one I really wanted to chat about, and I know it's not original, but it's absolutely awesome, and it's in this little window ledgy thing here. It's such a beauty, it's unbelievable. It's one of the single most strongest positions I would say in any payload map for a sentry gun. Those are some big words right there, but I don't know, it feels so powerful, and I've been in games where we're clearly losing. I've put a really solid defense up here, and I've been able to contribute to actually holding and winning the game. Like I said, you see a lot of people build here, but it's for a good reason. It's a really awesome spot, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in just a second. Now then, I like to throw in something a little bit more interesting, and these two are certainly that. So what you can do is build up within the second level in these two positions here and here. I've tried both these out. They both have their pros and cons, but they're so much fun to try out. You do have to sacrifice holding the first point, but yeah, it can be worth it because it's both a lot of fun to do and it's actually a really strong place to build. And I'll talk about both of these in just a second. Okay, so in this game we were being, I'd say, semi-rolled. I had my sentry gun built on last, but I decided I'm going to brave it. I'm going to push it a little bit further forward into this dream spot here and see how I get along. Yeah, sentry gun in the window. Dispenser just to the left there in that little nook I find really useful, especially when you need to tank heavy on the car or what have you. Teleporter I put in the other little area to the right. You know, it's not essential, it's kind of useful. If you're a heavy, that's still going to be useful, you know. You saved a lot of time by teleporting to there. Once you're set up, as you can see, you can really tank a lot of damage using a level 3 dispenser behind you. In this game, I survived several pushes, which kind of really proves this position out for me. The only real thing I have to worry about is that right doorway there. If they know there's a sentry gun in here and they try and spam rockets or stickies in, that can be really problematic. That's definitely what I do as a Demoman, and as you can see, there's a few stickies coming in here from the right. It's a little bit worrying, but luckily my team are kind of helping to hold that flank, and therefore we're able to continue to hold this point. Look at this, me and Heavy, look at that firepower, unbelievable. But yeah, we just held against an Uber there, I believe, an Uber Heavy, so such a strong point. Really difficult to take out from the main route through. You only need to worry about that right flank, which, you know, I'm often kind of running around using my shotgun. As long as you've got a couple of teammates around you as well, you should be good to go. Okay, so let's take a look at these other more interesting spots. This is where I like to do my little sentry jump. So the first one I wanted to try was this side, which probably makes the most sense. So I'm trying to position this in a way so that it actually covers the route up to this area, as well as actually being able to shoot out the window onto the car. So that's where it gets really tricky, because the better it does one, the less it does the other, if you see what I mean. This spot does do both, but if they run quickly, they can actually get up the stairs and into this area. And obviously it does shoot down onto the car, but it doesn't shoot them immediately. It's only when they get a bit further on, so it's a bit of a funny one. But yeah, as you can see, it's shooting out the window, it's shooting anyone who comes up the stairs, and really this top area is one of the most important routes through, because downstairs it's such a horrible choke point. Here I get a little bit cocky, start shooting down the stairs, and a patient spy saps all my buildings, and unfortunately I get taken out. GG. But yeah, let's take a look at the other side. And what I'm doing is I'm putting it on this little bridge here. Dispenser somewhere behind me. Teleporter is very useful to put up here as well, because I didn't mention it earlier, but having your teammates telly up here is awesome. Obviously it helps you. Whatever angle you're not covering, they can go to the other angle. You know, it's a really great help getting your teammates up here. Look at that shot, pinning that spy to that wall. What a beaut. So the thing about this spot is it does cover the route up into this area better, but it doesn't cover the car as well. In fact, if the other team were really smart, they could actually just push right on past. And that's why this spot is a little bit less than ideal, let's say. You know, it's something a little bit different. If you've played a lot of Goldrush like I have, it's definitely a lot of fun to try something that's a little bit unexpected for the enemy and brings a little bit of novelty to your gameplay as well. Okay, so the very last area of the map, you've got these two routes in. The three spots I see very commonly used are these three here. The first one being this one on the ledge to the left. Pretty much every game you get a sentry gun up here. I don't like using it because as a demo man I know I can take it out within seconds. All I have to do is move to this blue area here and just throw some pills over. It's dead easy, it's in a corner, you can't really miss, and that's why personally I wouldn't build there. So these other two spots, you see them a lot, but they do have their uses. They're particularly useful for like a last-ditch attempt to defend, and I'll talk a little bit more about both of these in just a second. But the one spot I wanted to share with you guys that I see an awful lot less often is actually on top of this walkway here. So if you position it correctly, you can actually cover obviously anyone pushing the cart through, but it also, more importantly, covers that right flank. It's not perfect, there are a couple of little things to keep in mind when you're doing this, but yeah, it's a little bit trickier to get set up here, but you know, it can be done. So yeah, let's jump into the footage again, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in just a moment. Okay, so this first one I wanted to show you, although it's a very standard spot to build in, there's a couple of key pointers I wanted to talk about. So I use this, like I said, when we're being pretty much rolled, and I'm just trying to hold on this last point. I put the sentry gun right in this corner here. When you do that, the level 1 sentry gun is really well hidden and will often go completely unnoticed until, you know, maybe it's too late. And notice that whilst I'm building this, I'm never staying next to that sentry gun. I'm being a distraction, I'm drawing fire, I'm building a dispenser around this corner to help me and my teammates. And I'm leaving that sentry gun in the corner to be a last minute surprise defense. And by drawing the fire, they don't have time to react to both me and the sentry gun or me and my teammates as well. And it can actually finish people off really well, even if it's a level 1 or level 2. So yeah, not the most exciting spot to build in, but as long as you keep your distance from it, don't just tortoise shell and camp up in there with all of your buildings, then it actually can be really useful to use. So the second one we talked about is behind this rock here. You do have some metal around here which helps you get set up a lot quicker. And again, if I've got some health, I like to be aggressive with my shotgun or whatever. But yeah, as you can see, as the enemies push right towards the last point, this spot does tend to take them out really nicely. And you know, you can tank quite a bit of damage if you need to with a dispenser behind you. But yeah, the sticky bombs are coming over the top of this rock here, you can see them. That's a massive threat for me. So in this situation, I like to run around, get a shotgun in their face, especially when it's a demo who struggle at close range. You can get right up in their face, and that makes it really hard for them to sort of take their time to actually take out your base. Got a lot of injured teammates coming back to this corner to kind of get healed up, so that's really good to see as well. So yeah, this is another one you see an awful lot, but it can be really useful, especially as a last minute hold. So yeah, this last one, a lot more interesting. As you can see, I'm putting the sentry gun facing this flank here. The reason being is anyone coming through the middle, it's going to be difficult for them to turn around and take it out, and they've got loads of other distractions from your teammates anyway. So it's really this flank you've got to focus on. And even here I'm getting spammed by a rocket, so this might not be the best position. I think in a second I actually pull it back a little bit. I don't think in this corner behind this wall is ideal though, because it's only going to shoot at the very last minute. But yeah, I just did that momentarily and I actually move it back out. And I think this kind of spot here is good, but unfortunately I remember in this game, yeah, there's a really good spy. He was very patient. I think he somehow snuck behind me and is able to take me out. But yeah, a really fun spot to try out, and I recommend giving it a go. And yeah, just maybe keep an eye out for spies. Okay guys, there's some of the spots I like to use on the second map of Goldrush. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if I missed out any awesome spots. I'm sure there are loads I didn't manage to cover. As always, keep moving your sentries about, keep trying to find new spots. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video where we take a look at the third and final map.
I'm moving this. By sapping my dispenser.